Alright, hey guys, it is Nick here. Today I have a little bit of a pointless video for those that are a little bit more advanced. For those of you that know what you're talking about when it comes to game making, this might be a video for you to skip. This is pretty much a filler video. So I'm just going to go over a bit of math and sort of how Project Sheila is going to all come together. So, the Project Sheila is a planet-based game. There's a lot of planets and galaxies, and they're all going to be randomly generated. And so I'm going to use a hex cube. If you don't know what a hex cube is, and I guess if you're still watching this video, you probably don't. A hex cube is pretty much a cube, and the center of each planes of the cube are blown up, so it comes out like a sphere. So it would probably look something like. Here, I'll try and make my best image of it for you. You'd probably have something like, oh jeez. Oh no. You'd probably have something like that. And what? God. There we go. Like that. These are roughly the edges of the cube. And so pretty much like the inside is blown up. So it makes a perfectly smooth circle. So that's sort of how the planets are done, because that way I can render terrain on a cube, and it would be transferred over to a sphere when it's turned into a sphere. It is a LOD, level of detail, quad tree structure, and level of detail is pretty much as it sounds. As you go closer to it, more polygons are rendered, and as you go farther away, less are being rendered. And so it pretty much gives maximum experience for those playing, because you don't have to render everything far away from full detail. That's what a lot of games now do use, but I figured I'd go over that in case you had no idea what I was talking about. So let's just I'll leave that there. So say this is our planet. Gravity is going to be very strange. I got a comment on a video on how fun gravity would be to program in an object-oriented language. You have no idea. It is not exactly the easiest thing I could do. However, I've got to do it. And I honestly, it hasn't even... Oh! This happens every time I try and record something. Alright. So I haven't even, thought about gravity yet. It hasn't even crossed my mind on how I'm gonna do it. If anybody has any ideas, go ahead, drop me a comment or something, but, it's gonna be difficult. I think I know how I'd like to do it, and I'll sort of explain that here. So here's your planet here, the circle, and we have say this is a spacecraft's moving line. So this is the whole, make a little arrow there. I'm really bad with paint. I like to use a Wacom much better than this. So we have this arrow, and so let's make a bigger circle. Say this is, oh geez, that's really, all of a sudden. So say this is our current circle. I think something has started up on my computer that shouldn't be starting up. You never know. Happens all the time. There we go. So there's our planet in red, and in gray is our gravity circle. There we go. So what happens is when you're in this circle, you have a center point in the circle. Don't worry about how I'm going to do all this. If you know what you're talking about, then you probably know how I'm going to do this. If you're sort of new to the math on game making, I'm not even going to bore you with the details because this is very obnoxious. So we have a center point of this planet, and that's the center point of the big gravity circle. And so pretty much the longer you stay in this, the more velocity towards the circle, towards the center of the circle you gain. And so the way Project Sheila is set up right now is you have directions. I need to put on the regular pencil. You have 4 directions, like so. You have up, down, left, right, others. Actually 6, my bad. Let's only worry about 4 right now, since this is a 2D plane. And so each one has a value, either positive or negative. Negative, positive, and they have a net value, and the net value determines which direction you're going, because this is all a grid. Let's pretend all these lines here, I just tried to point at the screen. Let's pretend all these lines here are one grid space, in like an X, Y, Z coordinate grid. Coordinate plane, I should say. So the velocity is pretty much how many of these you'll move per second, per unit of time. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And so they determine whether you're going up or down on the X, up on the X, or up on the Y, down on the Y, left on the X, right on the X, and then of course there's Z too. But again, we're not going to worry about that. And pretty much this starts to add to the velocity that's closest to it, or subtract. Probably subtract, because, yeah, subtract. Again, I haven't worked out all the bugs here yet. So as you become closer, the longer you stay in here, let's just say 1 is added to your, or subtracted I should say, to your downward velocity. That's a mess. So the longer you stay in here, the faster you start falling down. And this is sort of a cheap way of imitating gravity, because it's going to give the appearance, although this is a solid circle, it's going to give the appearance that you're slowly being sucked in. And so it'll look more like I'm trying to I guess like that. That's not very good representation of it. There we go. That's a little bit better, I suppose. So that's just sort of how gravity's going to work, I think. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it again. This may change. This may very well change. But I'm sort of doing something different here, I think. Coordinate planes aren't exactly my thing, and so this 6-direction movement is sort of what I have at the moment. This is not how walking is going to be. In case I do have someone who knows what they're talking about, I'm not doing like walking around on a planet's surface like this. That's going to be very different. With that, I'm going to do like, say this is the X, or the Y. Oh my god. Terrible. I told you I'm bad with these. Here's our X. And so pretty much it's just going to check like, is the Y value over 1? If so, add to Y, or subtract from Y and add to X. And so you get this nice smooth arc here. And then it checks, is it below X and above Y? Below 0X and above 0Y. If so, we subtract from X and subtract from Y, and then vice versa on this side. And so you get a nice smooth circle. That's how it works in 2 dimensions. 3 dimensions, a bit more complicated, but I don't want to bore you with the details on that. Because I'm sure you can figure out it pretty much works the same, a few minor changes. And that is all I have for today. That's just a little update video as to what I'm doing, because I haven't posted a lot about the game in a while. It's been difficult to contact some of the not contact, but it's been difficult to set up something with a few of my friends, or the rest of the team, I should say, because I work and my hours don't exactly cooperate with their schedules. So I should have some more interesting stuff on this later, but until then, here's like a short filler video for all you anxiously waiting. And yeah, it's 10 minutes, I think. I recorded this before, and don't worry about it. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment, send me a message, whichever. Yeah, I think you can find the game's Facebook page in the description. I had to think of the name there for a second. If you want to give that a like, that'd be wonderful. There's a bit more concept art than I showed in the last video up on there than there is on the last video on this game. So, yeah, you can find some stuff there. And thank you for watching again, and goodbye.